It looks like they're putting it's got a little bit more. Yeah. That guy's true. You're the first one to be like, you should literally just be like, I'm done. And just walk out. Drop my. I don't think you could even drop them. You'd be like, okay.
I'm scared. What they're gonna do is they're gonna
So we have a favor to ask of everyone. If you are a School of Computing and Design student and you are sitting in a chair, can you give your chair up to someone who is not a student? Thank you. Thank you. If you're a Capstone student presenting in this first session, you should be sitting in one of these chairs. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the School of Computing and Design 2015 Capstone Festival. My name is Kevin Cahill. I have the privilege of teaching the CST 400 and 401 Capstone classes this year. I'd also like to introduce Dr. Satya Narayana by the door. He is the instructor for the one semester CST 499 Capstone course, which is something we're trying for the first time this year. As you may have noticed, we are a growing program. We're kind of bursting at the seams, and one of the things we're trying to do to serve all our students is to provide the one semester capstone option. So it's an experiment. We're going to see how well it's working, and we'll appreciate any feedback you might want to give us after the Capstone Festival today. The festival is broken into 3 sessions. This first one should take about 45 minutes. Afterwards, we are going to have the CST 499 students presenting in this room, and the 2 semester students will be presenting in room 160. The entire morning we will be having poster sessions, so when students are not presenting, they will be in rooms throughout the building, and those are mapped on the back of the program. You will go and ask the students specific and hopefully hard questions about their capstone projects. During the sessions, the presentation sessions, there will be no questions. Okay, they'll be very short, hopefully less than 5 minutes presentations, where they will introduce and kind of provide you a summary of their project, hopefully interest you enough to come visit them in their poster session. So again, thank you for coming here and showing your support of this very exciting festival. And congratulations to the Capstone students for doing an amazing job, as you will soon see. Thank you.
I'd like to start by thanking all of you for showing up this morning. My colleagues and I have spent a lot of time and effort on our capstone this year, and we appreciate your interest in our projects. So without further ado, my name is Zane Harvey. I'm a communication design major with an emphasis in interactive multimedia. My project is a 3D architectural animation for the Museum of Natural History in Pacific Grove, California. My advisor is Patrick Watson. The Museum of Natural History has proposed new renovations to their current layout and design. Being a nonprofit organization, the museum is heavily dependent on the donations they receive in order to generate revenue. They are in need of a way to showcase the proposed remodel, allowing potential donors to see exactly where the money will be going. Staying true to the mission statement, which is to inspire discovery, wonder, and stewardship of the natural world, the museum must expand and adapt in order to continue serving our community. My solution was to create a persuasive, three-dimensional representation of the current museum with the proposed remodels. I then produced an animation fly-through. This allows for donors and other members of the community to get a realistic view of how the museum will look once the remodel is implemented. The representation of the PG Museum was built using Maya, a 3D computer graphics software. To give my project a more realistic appeal, I created custom textures, bringing the 3D assets to life with color and depth. Finally, I added 3-point lighting to cast movable shadows. You can see how much more aesthetically appealing the picture on the right is compared to the picture on the left. All 3D modeling and asset creation were done using Maya 2015. Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator were used to create the custom textures and normal maps. During the post-production stages of my project, Adobe Premiere and After Effects were used to edit and produce of fly-through animation. And what I learned, long-term project management. Using a Gantt chart to set deadlines, I learned to manage my time efficiently. This year-long project has given me first-hand experience working with a client. As far as the potential career path goes, this project requires me to drastically improve my skills with Maya. I learned advanced lighting technique, texture mapping, efficient asset creation, and architectural design. I would now like to show you a quick preview of my project. All right. And to learn more and experience my entire fly-through animation, please visit me in room 156. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, welcome to Capstone. Glad everybody could find a seat. Our project is called Steeply. We're going to tell you all about it in a couple minutes. But first, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Tommy Ledford. I'm Brandon Layton.
And I'm Stephen Gabriel.
And not only is this Steve's Photoshop masterpiece, but it also shows our teamwork and collaboration that was necessary to get this project done. Collaboration is also a really important aspect when people are, students in particular, learning to program.
So we wanted to tackle a really difficult issue that's prominent throughout the programming community. For aspiring programmers, Googling for answers for help is just not simply enough. While experienced programmers, setting up a development environment is often the most difficult part of a project when it shouldn't. The solution? Steeply.
So, what is Steeply? It's a one-stop shop for collaborative coding. You can code, compile, and run your programming projects all in the browser in real time with your peers. We have cross-platform and cross-device support. This means you can code and compile on any machine, anywhere, anytime. It doesn't matter what you're working on. We also support most beginner languages such as Java, Python, C++, and we also have Android mobile development.
But it's more than that. So imagine the young programmer whose only access to a computer to program is at their local library. Or the troubled student that's getting help from a tutor across campus in the safety in their own dorm room. Or the determined app developer who has to apply that one last fix before they go present to a potential investor. The possibilities at Steeply are endless. So when somebody invites you to a project, you get a nice little email. And when you click on the come and collaborate, it takes you to our site. Sign in.
I have it open on my laptop here. Brendan's going to open up a shared project.
So on the right side, there's a chat, so that you and the person that's helping you or the person you're helping can communicate. Up in the top, you see the list of who's there. On the left side, you see the files that are currently part of the project. And when you compile, it'll tell you whether it's compiled correctly or not. It'll pop up. It looks like there's a problem in this one. So they're going to figure out what the problem is. So it ran perfectly, and had they had to, or if they have to turn this in for homework, they can download it as a project straight to their computer, download it as a zip, or send it an email to their person. And that's their demo.
We were able to develop something this large in such a short amount of time thanks to agile development and very little sleep. Agile allowed us to work iteratively, testing extensively between each iteration.
So some of the tools that we use to be able to make this happen, Amazon Web Services for hosting and its unlimited scalability. So let's see, Node.js for the event-driven server backend. GitHub, well, we use Bitbucket, but Git is the underlying technology. Android, of course, for Android development. And then the front end uses the Ace text editor for syntax highlighting and HTML, JavaScript, CSS as well.
So the biggest thing we learned while developing Steebly was that attaining a minimum viable product, but before adding any additional features, is key to keeping code maintainable and clean. So, yeah.
Thank you guys for listening to our presentation. If you want to learn more about Steebly and the future of peer programming, you can go see us in room 164, or you can go to steebly.com and experience it for yourself. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Hello, staff, faculty, family, and friends. My name is Tyler Garland. I'm a communication design major here at CSUMD with an emphasis in web design. My advisor was Kevin Cahill, and my client is my lovely mother, actually, right here in front. So, a little bit about Heidi's heroes. So, Heidi, my mother, was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2008. And during her recovery period, she noticed not only the suffering for herself, but also for my brother and I. She saw the pain that we were going through as she was going through her recovery process. And even though we tried to hide it as best we could, you can't really hide anything from mom. So after her recovery process, she felt the urge to help other people, not only just breast cancer patients, but others affected by breast cancer. So the problem that we were faced with is the lack of websites that allow people to socially interact with other breast cancer survivors. And so the solution for this is to create a website that allows this social support system and a identity package for the website. The methodology for this is the identity package in this custom website. The tools that I used were WordPress, which was the content management system, Photoshop and Illustrator for graphics, and then Dreamweaver, CS3, and HTML5 for the coding and the creation of the website. The deliverables that I gave were this logo right here and the website you can see, which is also mobile friendly. What I learned is time management. It's really important to have things planned. I used a Gantt chart to make sure that I was on top of all my projects that I had to have done. Communication skills between my mother and I, because as I'm pretty sure most of you know, you don't always get along with your mother every now and again, but I still love you, Mom. I really do. Okay, I swear. And then teamwork, because it's difficult for one person to tackle such a big task like breast cancer. And so if you have any other questions or would like to learn more about breast cancer, I will be in room 156. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Jerry Santiago. I'm Yamaha. I'm Zach Weber, and this is data driven.
Alright, so we were enlisted by Salesforce, which is one of the top 500 companies in the world. They're worth over $40 billion, and they're best known for their CRM program. They enlisted us to help them create an app that would solve a few problems for them. First, they were looking for an app that could display, update presentations across multiple screens rather than going around to each screen and having to update each presentation. They also needed a system that could update their graphs automatically, so when the data updates, they don't have to go back into each presentation and update each graph.
A little bit of the project objective. The objective was to our platform to be able to pull data from the Salesforce API and create charts with it. And also remove the necessity of having to manually edit every single client in case something in the chart changed.
So the bottom of the chart right here basically sees the tools and technology we use and how the application would flow. We're primarily using MeanStack for this application. And then on top of that, our server runs JS Force, which is the wrapper for the Salesforce API. So we can pull data and graph and then throw it back to the client. So the client can graph all the MBD chart you can see on your screen. And all you gotta do is go to the website, you can log in with it. You don't need to register with us. All you gotta do is have a Salesforce account. We're using open authentication. What that does is it will redirect you to Salesforce. When you're successful logging from that, we get your token. That's where we're using that token to pull data from your account.
Demo. Yeah, so we have a quick demo for you. The first thing you're going to see when it pops up is our homepage. So you'll see a filter bar where you can search for specific slideshows. There's a play button where you can preview and play your slides. And then also the button in the top right corner is where you it redirects you to the Salesforce login.
As you mentioned, after logging on to Salesforce, you'll be redirected back to our site. Okay, and this is our user page. Right here, you'll be able to see the user's name. You'll be able to edit your slides. It will take you directly to the editor. You'll also be able to delete them and create a brand new slideshow.
So this is our editor page. This allows you to add, delete, or edit the slide content. So you can add content into the text area, or add or delete slides. And also we have the settings. This will allow you to change the slideshow settings, so like auto slide and then transition type theme. And when you want to add a graph, you click the graph button, and you would input your report ID or S object, and that will basically verify on the Salesforce side. Choose your graph type, and then your table column that you want to display. And that will add your graph, and when you're done, click finish.
recreate the demo that currently some of the charter support, it's up to 10, but there's only 6 of them. So some of the work you can do on this is based primarily on the editor page, because right now we're using a Markdown editor. There's only so much you can support on that editor. So basically you can't do like alignment or text color. So future work is to improve on the editor is by incorporating Vue.js onto the editor page and then you do inline editing. So basically you do like preview light editing on the spot. So what you see on the screen on the editor page is what you get on the slideshow.
So special thanks to Lauren and Marmos from Salesforce. And if you have any questions, we will be in room 170. Thank you.
I like it.
Hello. Hello, my name is Nicole Stack. I'm a communication design major with an emphasis in visual design. For my capstone, I did a graphic identity for the wine experience. My advisor was Bobby Long, and my client was Grant Version. So the wine experience is a new startup retail wine flavor and wine label customization company that will be opening this summer on Cannery Road in Monterey. Because they offer a wide variety of services, such as wine blending, winemaking classes, food pairing lessons, catering, group events, pretty much anything you want to learn or experience about wine they offer. So because they're a new startup, they have no visual representation or branding whatsoever, no way to get their business out to the public at all. And because they have such a unique and complex business model, there haven't been that many companies that have tried to do similar things and ultimately been successful. So there aren't that many precedents to study. My solution was to come up with a simplistic branding strategy that sort of translated the main concept for the whole company to the public. And you can see some of the applications here. And the solution basically consisted of creating a logo first, and then applying that to marketing materials, stationery, product and signage mockups, website, and social media. So my methodology began last semester with extensive research. Because they're such a diversified company, I had to research wine bars, wineries, breweries, local restaurants, and I started to get inspired by vintage badge logos, which are kind of making a comeback in design. So I sketched out some original logo ideas, and instead of doing a regular circle, I wanted to do a wine stain around the logo. So I went out and bought some wine. Really good research there. I dipped a wine glass in a bowl of wine, then I made a couple dozen stains on paper, and I traced them on pen, and I scanned them into my computer, and I made digital versions so that I could resize them and use them for anything. And this is the development of the logos over the course of this year. So on the bottom, you see some of the older designs, and I kind of restarted a few times and repurposed old logos to come up with these 4, and you can see the final, most recent one at the top. So these are the final 4 logos I presented to my client. This is the final logo that he chose, and I made an alternate version with external text outside of the symbol so that it could be resized for and used on smaller documentation and still be readable. And I used that on the stationery system for the company. And I created a website, and it is responsive, so it can work on any screen or mobile device and function properly. And also it can be integrated with the company's point of sale system and store. So if someone goes to the store and makes a blend that they like, they can go online and it'll remember them and they can order from their own home. And here's some signage mock-ups that can possibly be the signage on Cannery Road, all those wooden signs for the stores, and possible products for the store. And here's a few more, and there's just endless possibilities for the products in the store. And I created a graphic standards chart, which is very important when doing graphic identity because the client needs to know the exact details on how to properly use the logo consistently throughout the brand in the future. So it has rules on typography, color, sizing, pretty much everything they need to use they need to know to use the logo properly in the future. The tools I used were mainly WordPress and a little bit of HTML5 and CSS3 for the website, and Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign for logo, stationery, pretty much everything else. And I had weekly one-on-one advisory meetings, which were very beneficial, as well as class meetings, and I got feedback that was really helpful. And of course, several cups of coffee. The main thing I learned throughout this process was how to work with a startup, because they're trying to build a company from the ground up, and so their own timeline is throwing all these hurdles. So it was hard keeping my project on course, and I'm doing it independently, trying to keep my own project management by myself. So that was a big learning experience. But client communication was really important for that. And also creating a brand identity from scratch, not doing a rebrand. It was really exciting, but it was also kind of daunting because before I was know if you have it right, I actually restarted in April. I did not really like what I had, so I checked everything and I was like, this isn't good enough. And yeah, I just figured that what I had was okay. It just wasn't perfect for the client. He wasn't ecstatic about it, and that's not what you want. You want the client to be like wanting to put the logo on everything. So I redid it, and you just, yeah, and then you just push yourself, because you're not always going to have advisors or classmates to tell you, like, this is good enough, this is okay. Like, you have to figure out it for yourself. So yeah, if you want to learn more, I'll be in room 120. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Denise Delgado,
I'm Dylan Green. I'm Richard Falcon.
and our capstone project is called Language Screener. So our client, the Morgan Autism Center, is a school for students on the autism spectrum that have needs that are sometimes overlooked by public schools. And some of those needs include iPads and image sound devices that a majority of them use in order to communicate their wants and needs.
So our main motivation for this project was to help the Morgan Autism Center streamline their assessment process. They currently use an all-paper system for their students, and they see multiple students throughout the day. These can be newer students that have just come in, or these can be yearly assessment students. So our main motivation and objective of this project was to help create an application focused on iOS that allowed them to streamline the process electronically, going through the various test types, and then ultimately sending the results in a way that is convenient for them for later review. Moving on to our approach, what we did was we, again, focused on our iOS application. We developed this application using web-based technologies. We then used a combination of jQuery mobile and PhoneGap to wrap our application in a native form so that it registers well with the iPad. And then we have minimal errors and we can function fantastic and looks great for our clients.
So as Raymond was saying, our solution design using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, we were able to create a lot of the functionality of the app. And then using jQuery mobile, that handled a lot of our formatting, making sure it was clean, not too many things on the screen at once, because it can be easy for the student to get distracted while taking the test. And also for the framework, we used PhoneGap. This allowed us to access different APIs within the iPhone and iPad, namely the camera, file systems, and other APIs that we may have needed throughout the course. And final product is iPad app. So this is going to be a quick demo. Each student can log in with our app. So I'm typing in my name, and as you can see, it shows up at the top. From here, you can start your test. So you can choose how many images you would like to choose from. This can ramp up the difficulty if the student finds it easy. There's realistic and symbolic pictures, and you can choose to start on a specific question to resume the test. From here, you can select which test you would like to start. And once you start the test, as you can see, there's 3 images that you can choose from. There is also a notes section. This is for the speech pathologist to make certain notes that the test could not pick up on. For example, the student is taking too long to answer, they answer too quickly. And also, there's an email button, so at any time they can end the test, and when they hit the email button, it'll take all the results of the test, the notes, and it'll throw it into an email. Through the web base, it's not formatted, but in the app it is formatted.
It'll show their name, how many questions they got right, and all the notes. And then once you exit, it takes you back into the home screen, and all of the data that has been stored is cleared and ready to go for another test. So our future work, some of the things that we would like to do later on in the future is allowing the speech pathologist to ask more questions to the test through the app. So as of now, the only way to add more questions or images is to actually go into the HTML and add questions there. We would also like to add functionality for voice recognition as well as speaking into the microphone into the iPad or iPhone, so that way the students can communicate that way instead of just pictures or just pointing to things.
We would like to thank our mentors, Pat and Karen Patterson, Crystal Wright, the Morgan Autism Center, our advisor, Satya Mariana, CSUMB, and our families. And if you'd like to learn more about our project, you can visit us at room 110.
So much encouragement. There are so many more people in this room than I thought there were going to be. I'm really glad I wore my lucky socks. Everyone, we're almost there. Okay, I'll just start. So, hello everybody. Welcome to my Capstone project presentation. My project is Pickup. It's a web application that has to do with pickup sports. My name is Sam Smith. My client was Miguel Poblete, and my advisor was Kevin Pickup. So the problem that pickup players deal with is finding a reliable pickup game. You have to deal with flaky friends, unforeseen circumstances, it raining. I know we all wish it would rain more, but it sucks when you're playing sports. And then also playing sports is a social thing. And you know, you don't want something that's annoying to be social. You want it to be fun. So this is where Pickup comes in. Pickup, like I mentioned, is a web application. It aims to find the user the best pickup game suitable for them. It works by allowing users to view and join courts. When a user joins a court, it updates the network as a whole so that other people can see which courts are empty or full. It also makes pickup games and sports what they're supposed to be, fun and worry-free. So now a quick demo real quick. To be redundant. This is the one time where we'll let people get on their phones. You know who you are. So I'm just going to create a court really quick. The GPS is a little iffy on the desktop, so it thinks we're in Seaside right now. But that's okay. We'll adjust if I can remember where CSUMB is. So the AutoRec Center is right here. You can even see it says basketball court. Thank you, Google, for doing my job for me. I'm going to name it the AutoRec Center. If we wanted to, we could add an image. It's a public court, and it's a basketball court. So I'm going to create it. Go to our handy dandy list. Here's our court. Oh God, I got to join. And now you join. And as you can see, some people are already joining the court. We can see people pick up in real time. Wow, reloaded. So you can see who's there. It updates. Obviously, that's a bug. Yeah. Back to the presentation. So how I built Pickup. My methodology broke down into 3 phases: design, coding, and testing. Design moved from initial sketches to 3 designs to 2 paper prototypes, and finally 1 finished design. Testing was nestled both into coding and design. I tested a paper prototype, like I mentioned, to see if the users appreciated my design. And after I finished my app's basic functionality, I tested it multiple times to make sure things were working. Clearly, not enough. So this is an example of some of my methodology. On the left, you can see an earlier design. On the right, you can see the finished design. Something users mentioned was that they wanted more color in the app, so you can see the different change to navigation. They also felt like the information was too clumsy and clustered in the first one, so I spaced it out into 4 easy quadrants. You can easily tell where the court is, how many people are there, etc. So what I used to build Pickup.
I used Adobe Illustrator for the design assets. I used Twitter Bootstrap and CSS3 for the look and feel of the application. I used AngularJS and HTML5 for the front end and skeleton of the application. And I used Firebase.js for the database and backend. So what I learned that Capstone is a marathon, not a sprint. Sometimes I was blinded by what was right in front of me, like these lights, but I took a step back and saw the whole picture. Also, testing is incredibly valuable. Testing was the most important part of my project, as you can see. And I think building something that just works or looks good isn't enough nowadays. You need something that a user wants to use and it's proven they want to use. I also strengthened my knowledge of JavaScript with frameworks like Angular and Firebase. And I learned that Trello is my friend. For anyone who doesn't know what Trello is, it's a project management tool. It allowed me to see what I had to do on a specific day and also how I was doing over the whole project. So thank you for listening to my Capstone presentation. If you'd like to learn more, please go to pickupsportsapp.com or visit me in my poster session in room 110. Thank you.
Wait for the door to shut so it's not too distracting.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody here to our Capstone, student professors, family, and friends. I'd like to introduce the series software engineering team. My name is Carlos Espinosa.
I'm Micah Urier.
I'm Greg Greenleaf. And I'm Tyler Nicholson.
So, what is Ceres? That's how you pronounce it, by the way. It's a management tool for small businesses and organizations to simplify their in-house processes, and it provides wider accessibility to current and future clients. Today, we're going to walk through the process we took in making the software. While our client is Rick Dawson, who's the senior coordinator for student recreation, our software was built in a way that any organization could use it, so long as their name was Student Recreation and they belong to CSUMB. So first, let's talk about the management aspect of our software.
Student recreation offers a variety of services here on campus for students and staff. For events like open road tours, weekly mountain bike rides, or camping trips to sites like Yosemite, they look to create a socially active culture here at CSUMB. The rental service provides camping equipment as well as bikes to rent, and their bike shop offers repairs and parts. Events, rentals, services all need to be cataloged, tracked, and organized by the student staff that run the program. Originally, this was all done by hand, but that quickly got too complicated. The solution that they turned to was originally Google Forms. The forms that you see here are what they started using to help them stay organized, because they have maybe about 4 or 5 staff that kind of rotate through. So all having it all in one spot is what they needed. The reality was they were using the wrong tool for the job. Google Forms was never meant to be a managerial tool. The needs of the organization quickly outgrew it, and it became confusing as well. So when we came to understand the needs of student recreation, we realized that what they really needed was a way to manage their resources, be it rentals, events, or what have you. They were on the right track when they turned to Google, and as software engineers, we feel that technology is your friend. We soon came to understand that it could be broken down into 3 categories.
These 3 categories were events, services, and inventory. As mentioned in the beginning of the presentation, this was when we realized that we could solve this problem not just for student recreation. The concept of reusability is fundamental in software engineering, If you've written code to solve a problem in one place, reuse your solution for similar problems. While this generally takes more work, the impact that code has is far greater. We decided to take this and apply it to our project. What if we could solve this problem, not just for student recreation, but for other small businesses and organizations as well? Since we realized that other small businesses and organizations had to manage at least one of these three, that's what Series does.
So in Series, staff can easily create, they can modify, and they can delete their inventory, events, and services. The interface is unified, and it solves the headache of having to open a separate tab to reference information on multiple spreadsheets and documents. Dashboards are in place to provide a quick, informative glance at the state of the business. In developing the interface for staff to manage these resources, we realized something else.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the second component of our software. So how many of you have smartphones? Okay, quite a few of you. Just regular phones, that's fine, we're not judging you. In this day and age, there's a customer expectation that has arisen because of how many smartphones there are. It's the expectation to be able to access everything online. You might have no idea where you are because you're looking at your phone, trying to find out where to go next. But you always expect whatever you're looking for to also be online. So while a staff member is updating their inventory full of weird-looking bicycles. For those of you in the back, trust me, that's a weird-looking bicycle. A customer could be ordering online from the shop viewing that same bicycle. They may even decide to buy it right then and there. If it wasn't already apparent, we built this as a web application. We built our project on two open source frameworks called Ember.js and Laravel, and we're getting ready for it to be released as an open source project, which means it could be free for people to use.
So our whole methodology has been framed around the idea of reusability. This is not just something for being better programmers and designers. When you're trying to come up with a solution for a problem, it's tempting to use a patchwork approach to save time and effort. However, if you step back, you'll find a solution the first time that can help you later on down the road to solve similar problems.
Teamwork, yes. A lot of what we learned was teamwork, keeping each other up, helping each other get that drink of water when we're a little bit down. Checking in with each other, making sure someone's doing well, or maybe taking somebody to the emergency room if they pass out. But you know, we take care of each other, make sure that the project does well, and work well with each other. Conflict management. Sometimes things flare up, especially when stress levels are high. But we're all four here. We started with four. We're ending with four. As well as the camaraderie outside of the project. So not only did we create a great project, but we made some good friends.
Thank you for your time and interest in Series. Will all of you please join us in room 170 for a demo and poster session. Thank you.
So that concludes the first of our three sessions. I hope you all agree that we're doing some rather exciting stuff in the School of Computing Design stuff. And we're very proud of our capstone students. Let's give them all. So we're going to take a 5-minute break, and we will resume in this room and in 160 for the next two sessions. Thank you.
Hey, sir.
It's not really. Yeah. What's up, Marty? Next year, buddy. Next year. Is it open?
Probably the best presentation.
Here we go.
I'm busy. So I live in the office
I gotta make sure I just don't trip on that.
If you can give me
I think I did it tonight, so I'd like to come back. I feel you can still come and watch it. And, you know, they might make us hard I like speed and okay, well, I know I knew it was street in here, LA. Really? Okay. All right. Just keep me posted. I will. All right.
I think he would do it. Because he was saying so I think you gotta focus. Don't just right here. I think we can just so like even right here, like you can see the screen, but you can't read anything that's on there. It's like you focused on right here in the
Yeah, I think so. So let's game with this.
You went downwards.
Okay, now we'll
Get
do
another camera.
I found it. It's better to transfer my stuff.
Patty, you choose. Patty, you choose.
Love to wrap it.
Like, it's basic. Now we're getting better because
I mean, my time. So you're not gonna go watch the 499?
No, I think this is 499, I guess. Here's the 499. You can pick some room 118. I think this is 118.
I haven't.
Yeah, this guy. This guy is yeah. Yes. Hey, Micah. Micah. Come. Micah, here. Hey, I want to take a picture.
Where you were.
So,
All right.
Okay.
Have somebody take a picture for us.
Yeah. I will. Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
I will. Yeah.
Okay.
I worked with this guy for 4 years. He makes it project. I know this guy. Yeah, so I want to take a picture.
Thank you.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I got it. Okay, thank you. Okay, I will go there. Okay, later. Yeah, I think yes.
Yeah. I'll be sure to say goodbye once before I leave.
Okay, let's go ahead and start. So in this session, the students who are going to be presenting on the new model Capstone that Kevin was talking about in the beginning of the plenary session. These are students from CST 499, computer science students who did a team project for an external client, and we are going to see a sample of the projects which they worked on over the last semester. We'll start with.
Hello, this is the CalSpeed Data Imaging Project. My name is Peter Walker.
I'm Nicholas Marati.
I'm Timothy Beck. So a quick overview of the CalSpeed project. Our project was more a subset of this project as a whole. So what it is the California Public Utilities Commission is testing the cellular network performance of different carriers around California, and the map signifies a number of the locations at which these tests are being conducted. And so what happens is a tester contacted by the California Public Utilities Commission goes out with a cell phone and will then send and receive data along a specific carrier's network. This could be AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, or Sprint. And so while this testing is going on, the performance values are being recorded and then are uploaded to a server for further analysis. So this is just a quick brief snapshot of some of the output that is being generated. There is statistical information and performance information mixed in with units and other unnecessary information, and so this is an unstructured output that needs to be parsed and then analyzed. So what happens is that each of these 2,000 plus locations of these 4 files are generated, and to give you a scope of what we're dealing with in terms of raw data, at least 16,000 files were generated in the last round of field testing.
So from the last slide, you noticed that we have many locations and thousands of files, and that leads to a lot of data, too much data. And we don't have a lot of information about the data. So our question is, how can we turn the CalSpeed data into usable information? Our plan is to design a system to transform the CalSpeed data. But first we need to gather the data from an unstructured output. And our next goal with the system is to create visuals with the data and then provide a web interface for users to access it.
So our solution was to create 2 separate systems. The first system would gather the unstructured data and turn that into structured information, and then from that structured information create visuals. Our second system we're able to create a website which users can then go and get the visuals from. These 2 systems would be sharing the data so that there would be no need to migrate data between the systems.
So this is just a small diagram of what's going on. There's a lot more specific modules and components to the system, but in general, the 2 subsystems, which Tim outlined before, the analysis subsystem, which is generating this information from the raw data and storing it in the database, and then the website system, which is going to be taking user requests and then generating useful visuals from that stored information.
So in our analysis subsystem, we take the unstructured output and we pass that through a data parser, where in turn we get structured data, useful information, And then we store that into a MySQL database and we repeat for all inspection documents.
So for the website, a user will come access the website and fill out a request form. This form is then sent to an agent, which then takes the request and turns that into a visual. You can store on a web page where the user can access it at any time.
So as a result, we currently just have a prototype system working. We had a lot of data to deal with. There's a lot of more necessary components to really fine tune and get working properly. But it's currently online and running, and we have this completely documented. And this is just a quick, a small sample of what's going on. The website, as you can see on the left, is very simple colors and interface. And on the right are some example graphs that have been generated by our system from actual data.
So for gathering the necessary data from the data parser, the data parser is part of another CPU related project, and what we'd like to do is consolidate those two projects. We would then like to implement regression testing to improve the reliability of the system, and as well as install our system on the live servers so it can receive new data.
As for the website, we would like to see more visuals being used. We would like it to be easier to access the actual structured data instead of just only visuals. And we'd also like to see the interface of the website fine-tuned and structured better.
So in conclusion, the prototype system is running. You can come and check it out at our poster session, which will be in room 156, or also the documentation will be available for view. If you happen to have your phones out, the QR code will also take you to the website. Thank you for listening.
Hello, everyone. We are the Connected Merchant Group. My name is William Cave.
I'm Nelson.
These are the background of our project was the idea being an easier way for travelers in a merchant town like Monterey, Little Beach, or anything to be able to connect more easily with things that are physically nearby to them, not just whoever has the best online presence. In order to do this, these are the tools we're going to use. The Eskimo Beacon is a little Bluetooth lighthouse sort that just lets you know that it's nearby. NativeScript is a really interesting new language on the Telerik platform that we got to use just for this project that is a cross-platform everything. You just write everything up in JavaScript and it compiles and runs on Windows phones and Apple phones and Android phones and everything.
So using all these technologies, our plan was to promote effective interaction between merchants and customers. So the overall process goes, merchants first buy from it from the city who owns the entire software. Their store will then be added to the software. Once a traveler arrives in the town, they are pushed to download the app. Once they download this app, they can then view all the local merchants and look at the information and then even chat with the merchants to find out even more information about the store. Once the customer is inside the store with the app, there are beacons around the store that will pop up deals, coupons, or anything.
So for our entire project, we needed two apps, one app for the merchants, one app for the travelers. Both the apps are being established using the Telerik platform. All the user data is stored in the backend services of the Telerik platform. We also created a web browser application that runs the chat between the travelers app and the merchants app using Socket.io. Also, the user data from the Telerik backend services is stored on the web application. This is the layout for the merchant app where the new merchant takes permission from the city. They download the app, they register by putting their personal information, store details, which will be further accessed by the traveler's app and they register for that. And they sign in using their username and password, which will take them to the chat page where they can start the chat with the travelers.
So this is the Travelers app. It has a login and registration very similar to the Merchants app. After they log in, on the very left is where the user page will be at. It has two buttons, Merchant and Chat. Once they click on the Merchant, it will go to Telerik's backend, grab all the stores, and display them in an interactive list. And once they tap on a store that they would like to view, such as the local surf shop, it will go back to the teller backend and display that store's information all in an organized page. And then we also implemented the call store button that grabs the phone number for that store and opens up the phone app so that it's quicker to call back to the store.
So this is the Traveler and Merchants chat application. It is using Socket.io and it's running on Node.js. It's a many traveler to one merchant relationship. This means that it allows many travelers to potentially chat with a specific merchant. And so this is our connected merchant admin web application. It allows the admin to send and receive data from the traveler and merchant's backend. And you can see here that the admin can receive the merchant's data. And this is the same for the traveler's backend. This is the chat for the admin's page. It allows the admin to send notifications to all the travelers and the merchants.
And this is an iBeacon. We weren't sure that everyone had heard of what an iBeacon is. Like I was saying, it's just basically a lighthouse. It just sends out low energy Bluetooth pings to let all devices nearby that have Bluetooth capabilities know, hey, I'm here, here's my device ID. And then what our app does is it takes that device ID, queries the backend, says, hey, whose iBeacon is this? I'm going to find out, it'll try to connect you, or I'll connect you on the phone or the web app.
So for future work, there's so many more features that we can add into these apps, such as a search feature to make it even quicker for us to view the merchants, categorizing stores such as retail, hotels, and food. Also a reward system to make it even more interactive.
as you zoom in, it plots them out as individual points. And this was a pretty good learning experience as well.
Brief demo, you can see that zooming in, you'll see the one pin expand into multiple pins. Sorry for the blurriness. So you'll see that that one pin now expanded. You can also click on them to see more information. The condensed pins tell you how many are underneath, and the crime type pins will tell you what type of crime happened and general information about where it was. That was a brief view of the filter page. And it looks like a demo. Right, so future work for this, we'd like to implement a address searching feature so users can have an easier time putting in an address that they'd like to find instead of kind of guessing about it. They have that drop-down view that we're used to. Connecting with Apple's services so users can receive those push notifications that we're all used to and find out when crimes happen in their area. A routing feature that would allow users to be rerouted around crimes to avoid any obstructions that may have happened due to those crimes. And a sort of modern neighborhood watch that would allow users to join a group within their neighborhood and discuss suspicious activity or help report and hopefully prevent crimes from happening. We'd like to thank Rogan and Kristen. They were our mentors from Petal, along with the faculty here for helping us on this journey that we'd like to call college. If you have any questions, please come see us in room 156. Thank you.
Everyone, my name is James Earthman. I'm Michael Good. I'm Alfredo Warren and Jacob Young. And together we worked on the Ericsson Cloud Gamification project for our Capstone. So growing up as a kid, I played a lot of video games. And my parents would always come up with the statement, I wish you could apply your learning skills that have video games to your actual academic work. And so over the course of our generation, scholars have looked at this and started to develop the idea of gamification. Badgeville, one of the leading companies in the gamification industry, states that gamification is the concept of applying game mechanics and game design techniques to engage and motivate people to achieve their goals.
So a little bit about Ericsson. Ericsson is a huge telecommunications company that specializes in broadband mobility. We got over 100,000 employees, and out of that number, they got 57,000 in sales. They wanted a fun way for their sales employees to learn about cloud, which brings me to our problem statement. Yeah. So Ericsson was trying to be in the cloud environment. However, cloud is a new area for them, and their sales employees don't have a good grasp about cloud technology. So our final task was to create an engaging, competitive, and educational mobile web app for their sales employees to learn about cloud.
All right, so for our approach, we decided to go with the agile development method. This allowed us to prepare weekly sprints for quick and repetitive development and testing iterations. We held weekly scrum meetings where we prepared our weekly sprints, and every 2 weeks we held those meetings with our mentors to update them on our progress. Some of the tools that we used include project management tool Trello. It's a board that allowed us to stay organized, prepare our weekly sprints, and set our weekly goals. It was a great visual to keep track of our progress. We used Bitbucket to hold our repo, and we used the Bitbucket GUI source tree to handle version control. And because we all worked on separate PHP files, we only needed to check out one development branch throughout the entire project. And for our IDE, our integrated development environment, we used Aptana, and we hosted our entire project on the ITCP LAN servers.
Okay, so in terms of solution design, we used PHP mainly, especially for the game engine, which is the quiz part. And then design-wise, we used CSS. We mostly used Bootstrap, Twitter Bootstrap. And in terms of the database, we used PHP MyAdmin to to manage it in MySQL for the queries. And we'll do the demo. So this is our login page. You can create an account, I'll call in admin. So this is the main page. You can see activity key. This is whenever someone levels up or gets 100% on a quiz, it'll show up on everyone's activity key. It shows your level here and your progress to the next one. And here's the quiz center, so you can choose a category you want to take a quiz on. And this is the quiz. So we'll go through here. And, I chose the wrong category, but normally there's questions on cloud technology for the sales representative. And so you can see your results here. And here's the leaderboard, so it shows your skill points and your accuracy. And then it shows nearby players around your rank. And it shows your overall rank among other players. So when we finished our project, we had an interactive animated quiz application that tracked user information and had a user leaderboard system. We had an optimally structured database to handle the scoring information, account information, and the questions for quizzing the sales representatives. And our learning outcomes were agile development, did a lot of PHP, SQL, Twitter Bootstrap, and jQuery. So for future work, we still need to integrate the app with Ericsson's employee system, which shouldn't be too hard because it's all very modular. Then we need to add, we can add more gamification exercises rather than just a quiz application. And of course, we'd like to bring this app to other structured learning environments as well. So for our acknowledgements, we'd like to acknowledge our mentors, coaches, and peers honored from Ericsson. If you have any questions, please come see us in room 171. Thank you.
All right, hello. We're Team Navy and Centaurs, don't ask. We are Navy e-learning, transitioning to a service-oriented architecture. I'm Vincent Doherty. Ernest Hernandez. I'm an Aaron Nunn. So what is Navy e-learning? Navy e-learning is a computer-based learning technology that is used by the Navy and the Marines. It's not always easy for people in the Navy and the Marines to take the time to sit down on a computer and complete these lessons whenever they want. Most of the time, they're doing their jobs, whether it be on land or at sea, and always on the move. But being able to have access to these lessons anywhere at any time, with lessons such as fraternization, all kinds of training, degrees, and many more, is exactly what the Navy and Marine team.
Our project objective was to take an e-learning system in which all the lessons in the grade 12 stored on one server and only viewable on a desktop or a laptop, to an e-learning system in which the lessons could be stored anywhere on the internet. The lessons could be viewable on a mobile device, and the lessons would the results would also be saved on the old e-learning site as well as the new server, which would act as a database that could track and send statements accepted by a new technology. This is important because, as Vincent said, many of the students in taking these courses are either in the Marines or in the Navy and don't always have access to a desktop or a laptop. And they don't always have a lot of time to sit around and take a course, but they would like to use their mobile devices, which would allow them to take their coursework while they're on duty at their own convenience.
So our approach was to use divide and conquer approach because we're given a thesis
from somebody at NPS that had kind of set up a system, but they wanted a way to make it so it's repeatable and easily recreate the systems. And then we were going to get the learning management system and the learning record store up and running, the LMS and the LRS, and then get the tracking from the learning record store for the lessons, and finally to get working with mobile devices. For our solution time, we used AWS, Amazon Web Services, and VirtualBox to virtualize the systems, so you didn't have to have physical access to the servers, and it's more flexible and decouples it from having to have physical servers in place. Then we were going to use the Experience API for tool tracking. As you can see, the legacy system, the learning management system, the lesson and the tracking have to be on the same server, and they use the old SCORM, which is shareable content object reference model, and then so instead of using the legacy system with this form, using Experience API to have it on separate systems so that you can have lessons in different places, and you could track it more easily. On the far side, you have the date and time of the quiz taking lesson, and then you have the student. Then you have their action, if they answer correctly or not. Then you have the quiz question, their answer, and after they finish taking the quiz, then you can see their grade, and those are the tracking statements from the new Experience API from the learning record store.
For future work, all that needs to be done is to verify that the results are still being tracked to both the old legacy system and the new server for desktop and laptop, and then also that needs to be made sure that it's still correctly verified on mobile devices. After that, security for the data between mobile devices, desktops, and servers, and everything on the server needs to be up to DoD standards for security. And after that, we believe it'll be ready for deployment. We would like to thank our mentor, Arjit Das of the Naval Postgraduate School, the ADLNet team, and if you would like to learn more about our project, you can see us in room 120. Thank you.
So our presentation is Connecting Skies. I'm Terrence.
I'm Daniel Ayala.
I'm David.
I'm Jack.
So to start our presentation, I'm going to give you a story of what it's like. So you just arrived at the office at 8 a.m. You were not awake yet, and then you had your coffee. You find that you have to upload data to the International Space Station between 12:30 and 12:40 during its only satellite pass over Monterey. However, you decide to step out from much early so that you'll be back in time to do the upload. And then you find out that the street performance was still from the aquarium bouncing on balls. Traffic at a standstill. And no one's in the office to process the upload. It doesn't happen, and you have to redo all your tests over from scratch. 12:30, the satellite passes again. You see what it looks like passing over Monterey. And you're still stuck in traffic. And you're finally realizing that your satellite time has passed and there's nothing you can do about it. But wait, you just started our new software from CSUMB, and you can reschedule your time to reserve a spot at a different ground station in Utah and process your data from there. So the background for our project is that initially for a ground station, you only had access to one ground station, and whenever your satellite passed over that ground station, that was the only time you had to access it. A satellite pass could go anywhere from 5 minutes to 20 minutes, and that was all you had. So the goal of MPS was to create a ground station network where instead of being stuck using one ground station, you could access multiple ground stations. So for us, our job was to develop a system to control access to those individual ground stations that will allow optimized access for users.
So for our solution design, we decided, or for the system, we decided to create a web application entailing in 3 parts here. So the first part we have here is the database, which we coded in MySQL. It was based off Aaron Felt's master's thesis. We read through that thesis and then we formulated a relational diagram for the database off of it using MySQL. The second part here, we're just going to hop to the other side on the front end or the website. We use HTML coding for that. Specifically, we use Bootstrap because we find that to be more appealing and more responsive. And then the things to tie it together, we have an API made from PHP or PHP framework Sling, which we use to create between the website or to communicate between the website and the database, where the website uses JSON to send queries to the API, and the API will bring the data and bring it back to the website.
And this is our demo. Here we see the user can enter their username and password. After they do that, they will be taken to the dashboard where the user can view their current reservations as well as add a new reservation.
So there's a reservation page where the user can actually select a satellite, a day, a time, or a start time and end time. So after they enter the time, they could hit search and that'll list out the actual ground station that's available to them. And they could either hit reserve and then they'll see the current reserve, or hit the spec where it'll show the spec of the ground station. And we'd like to acknowledge Jen Perry and Aaron Paul for helping us, mentoring us, and Nimble Post Grad School for providing some opportunity to work on this project.
If you want to know more about our project, we're in room 110, and we can explain and show live demos to you today. Great, thank you.
So I believe that is the final presentation. I'll take a minute to give a little bit of a background. I'm not sure if this made sense to everybody. These students were in a class with 62 students working on 17 projects. These were the students who either volunteered or were volunteered to make this presentation. But there are 17 projects that were part of this class, and all the remaining students and these teams also have posters across the building, and the program has a map where it lists the project and the room numbers where they are in. So please, we are going to be here till 12, so please take the time to walk around and talk to the students. You can talk to these students or the other students who didn't present today, and there's a lot of interesting projects there which you can look at to see what our students were able to do in one semester. That's basically the end of the session. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Just say hi, and then oh, almost. That's a live streaming. I think I clicked it, so I guess it's okay.
How are you, sir? Thank you very much. I'm very good. How about you? I'm doing well. The students wanted me to come and look at see their Capstone presentation. Very good. I'll probably visit some of the so I'm now grading. I have projects that I have to grade. Which one is the
No, CMS.
CMS.
Yes, you are talking about the official final.
Official final grade.
CMS. I get CMS.
CMS. So I'll find it.
Then you can go inside and you can see the student list.
Yeah.
And then you can give letter grade. Okay.
I'm going to, I don't have anybody that's going to flunk. I don't have anybody that's going to be, but I don't have any failures. Okay? I have some that I'm going to have to be a little well, what happened is that some do well with some, do well with others. And so I'm going to balance all that out. And try to oh, no, please. Go ahead.
Sorry. Peter, yes, please come here. I want to take a picture with you because you helped me a lot. No, I don't want to sell. Anna, please. Peter helped me a lot for the.
The same too.
Oh, okay. Just we can take a picture of it.
Yes, we'll do that.
Okay, here we go. You are too big.
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Yes, we're done.
Okay. Cynthia, would you please
take a picture?
This one is mine, and this one is Anand's. Both.
Anything is fine. Take that. And then you send me that picture.
Okay, I will. Yeah. So will you come Saturday?
Yes.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah, at some point you should show him this system. I
Yeah,
keep on saying that to him, like show him what you have done.
I need to.
He's the guy who needs to know this so he can put it together.
Yeah. I will definitely. Okay.
Where's yours?
Yeah. So I can read this in my honor. Yes, and it went well. Nice. You come to the Saturday. Okay. Let's take a picture now.
Yes.
So I have one. Jacob, do you want to? Okay. Okay, here we go. Hey, check.
Problem is, they don't make we appreciate it. So, I wasn't that updated copy. I will do that.
Oh yeah,
Very nice TV. Thank you. Good lighting.
No, we just left. So we also yeah, thanks for taking the time to come to this. Safe trip down south. Yeah, it is. It's like a rain. Yeah, it's like I'm here. Right, programming this for you
Thanks for coming. Right? Yeah, and so I think I started with you.
Not that I didn't want to, it was just fine. We can still do it.
There's one more person who might not launch on.
Well, if you know, you'll be on committee, you just go to the.
It's kind of like a sector.
So on my side, I'm like,
Yeah.
Application.
Yeah.
Don't say that out loud.
but sorry, you used to be here.
We're going to the circus.
Yeah, it's good to see you. It's okay.
What kind of dog is really
Yeah.
Oh. The reality is $100.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I joined. I'm not sure I have all because I have like one. Yeah, things like this happen. So I think
Yeah.
But yeah, if there is an opportunity, send me an email and if I can make something,
She doesn't know where they're at. So would you mind if she sent you an email? Yeah, I don't know why. No, actually, they're down somewhere. But it can go on the
Yeah, so that there's nothing in, no more than one. So I know.
Like, I don't want to buy that. I think she would just want to talk to you and see if go and see.
There are like a few other projects which you may find interesting.
I figured.
For the other.
You know, like,
So then started.
Have a great summer. Have a great trip.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just wondered. I actually did it.
Yeah, well, if I came to Capstone, they didn't have a date that I'm just like, use something else.
I don't know, they put my name as a they would come and they go, we had this kitchen. Like, okay, excellent. And then they come and tell me, I have no idea how they did it.
You know what else?
And it is true. They,
Yeah,
and one of the difference of they are executive.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate that.
I took an Android project and downloaded it onto the
How do you want to be? And or online.
I was like, I would have
computer security, which we have.
But he sent me the ones. I should have gotten to.
Jigger, how are you? I'm doing well. I have a pulse. Are you doing okay? You did well out there. And I'm going to be.
Yes, yeah. We will. We're probably.
Hey. Okay, I'm going to be bigger. Thank you. I know. I read your.
That's it's big. Yeah, we're sort of on the East Coast. 18 feet routing us to Toronto. And it's not usable. So kind of like those modules and then bring on them. Oh, like I said, it's like that. But yeah, he does a lot.
Yeah, no, I do want to. I think they're also not good. I'm also trying to.
I kind of like the beginning. Was it right at the beginning, John? Yeah, the instituting. Congratulations.
Trying to.
Yeah, and those. Congratulations. A lot of different models. Yeah,
You did judo now?
Judo?
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 years ago.
You know, there's a lot of things. It's like,
It's a based app that, but I don't think it doesn't have something specific. And he started got like venture investment and it's kind of doing that. And so they're talking to them. So there's a lot of.
First it was. I just realized we had a guy that is on every like works here. So they only have one full-time staff. The rest is volunteer.
Oh yeah. Okay. 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 No, but yeah, again, I don't know whether I have the need for it. Yeah.
But that's the guy I've been trying to get.
Yeah, I can.
That's all like, well, yeah. Yeah, now you gotta figure out a way to make extra money. Yeah. Right now, I'm just started kindergarten. A couple years to work on saving up money for a hobby. Yeah. Completely different. I wish I could have done that day. Yeah, I got a new traffic. Oh, really? 2 hours.
Enjoying some fruit. Well, I'm sure you're gonna take it after when you. Oh yeah. I guess it's still not a food anymore. Yeah.
So we were like,
Yeah.
No one will remember you.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm here Monday through Friday.
No one's here, guys.
Look at that.
I know you were. Where did you get that?
Yeah, yeah. I hope it on. Yeah. Well, I'm kind of hoping too, like, I'm not sure if anybody's going to or no, that's what I was hoping. I was checking the scale, see if he's finally going to come over. I've been talking a while. Wanted to get back in touch so that we can even try to do these data sets. Yeah, definitely. Right, that's what I can unless they change something, unless they want to work on their rules. See, I like to I want to keep up because I have a long list of so many other events, but then I do just those two that it's just I would keep forgetting about them. It'd be nice to The notes don't matter. School, there's no school affiliation. It's easy to find people. Well, that's one side I go to. There's another one I go to that is also a long catalog. But matter of fact, Dan Mason, I don't know if you've watched those, he's got this thing called on Cyber Fair. It's like this little YouTube thing that's every week. It's strictly about capture flight stuff. And it talks about up and coming or what's happening. And it's a really neat little series. I think it's called Cyber Fair. And they even talk about other kind of like, yeah, I think you can look for it. It's called Cyber Fair. Yeah. I've been trying to catch up on all the past episodes, but the whole thing is focused mainly around cybersecurity and capture flight competitions. But I just like all of us to be able to do like the race again. You know, I wasn't there. You know, so funny. The one day I not to go to Capstone, they were here. And, you know, it's funny. I have an interview with them tomorrow, or a phone interview to do an internship. So I have to. Okay, there you go. Are you going to do an internship or for a job? Oh, okay, okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I'm so excited about that. I've been trying so hard. The guy can't go back to work. Never seen that before. I finally got I don't know. Yeah, I didn't know anybody at first. I was like, Sean, you know, it was funny because I wasn't here, but they actually contacted me and said, we got your resume. I'm like, stop, you know, we're on that list. So make your stuff for us, spreadsheet. But they actually contacted me. And I was like, this. Okay. So then I was like, you research for me. So that's cool then.
Another presentation up here?
I didn't know that until like already halfway through.
I'm very good. Okay, thank you.
There's some flyers like that. Wait. What presentation do you want?
I just wanted to get an idea of the design.
Yeah.
They go from 9 to 9:45.
Oh, you take it in?
And they end at 11.
Yeah, I don't like you.
Speed download was through 160.
First part.
What that ends out
For websites. So in the business department, they all present in one room, but this one is spread out. That's why I'm confused. Let me see. Let me run over to 106.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you would have done it by now.
Oh, yeah, it's not making it. We actually have the option to choose.
Well, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Instead of having it easier to have it in, but like thankfully I like to see it and then everyone's walking. And then we can do people, so just like it.
Oh, okay. Well, you're all ready to go. Hey. Good seeing you. I got
Yeah.